for example, and I will take password, okay, and that. So we try to log in. I think that there is a problem with the server. Let me check in 1 second. Let me check. Okay. Okay. That is a basic problem. Let me check it here. Basic problem. Okay. That is a problem with the server actually. I will say how I try to see. We have that. Try to make the same thing. Password. Okay. Or 1 equal to 1. Maybe I will just put password here. Okay, so we try to log in. Good. Guys, have you understand? So what you can see here is that if I come back in the server, okay, and we try to look at that, you will see that you got that. Okay, that is what we are getting. So we get that when we are successfully connected. So that means that the server we can use as us as a valid user. So we have used the sanitize query in order to get logged to the server. So that is basically what we call SQL ingestion. SQL ingestion, if I want to make a summary, is just an attack in which hackers will try to exploit a query that is not sanitized, a query that is not properly made, in order to get access to some information, to your information in a website. So that website includes a database server that will host your username, password, or emails. And if developers, I want to say, are not advised about that attack, you will see that your information will be exposed to attackers. Okay, guys, have you understand, or have you some question about that attack?
Okay, so actually, I have a question for this one.
Okay.
Because we are seeing an input boxes, and that's where we are trying to put those malicious queries, and this is how the backend database is processing them. What if the web page doesn't have any input boxes where we have to put those malicious queries? Is it still possible that we can exploit and perform SQL injection?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, in a case that we have not some bus where we can put information, for example, we have not a login page, that is not, I want to say that in a website, that's not necessarily a SQL injection vulnerability. So to find an SQL injection vulnerability, we have to be sure that we are in front of some website, we are in front of some database, we are in front of some logging or some form that is processing with the database, and the queries are not properly sanitized. Okay, are not properly sanitized. Maybe in the next lab we see that we can exploit in different ways. form. Okay, to answer to your question, imagine that we have not a boss. There are some websites that have not boss, but are authentication using some web sending methods like post, beef, okay, like post, but they are not showing as we can see here. As we can see here, they are not showing that, but they are sending data to the database. Okay, so that you will remark that when we do some investigation, when we do some exploration on the website, so that will take a little time from you, a little time. Thus, keep in mind that SQL ingestion vulnerability can occur when we have a database and we have improper sanitized queries. I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Hello. Another question? Some connection problems? Guys, have you some question? Okay. I think that if there is not a question,
Uh,
okay.
I want to know if we have not a login page and we have a database, we can
Okay.
do a SQL injection, or it's always with login page we can do this.
No, that depends. That depends, okay. That is what I was saying. Suppose we have not a login page, we have not a register page. We can also have a comment section on the website. So what we are trying to have when we are on a hacker here is just to see if in the website we have some interaction between the page and the website and the database, okay, in order to see if there is a query that is made between the website and the database. And we will try to see and to look to that query in order to see that if that query is not properly sanitized. So if it is properly sanitized, we not have SQL ingestion. But if there are some issues, we will have some SQL ingestion. So that is the I want to say that is the expertise of the hacker in order to see if it is vulnerable or not. Have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Another question? Okay, maybe there are some questions in the chat. Uh, some question in the chat. Okay, why do we add before the payloads? Okay, so guys, we are talking about those. Okay, maybe that will be clear here. Okay, we are talking about that. Okay, we are adding that in order to close the open this. Okay, just that we are adding that in order to open this. Okay, that's just the fact. After that, can we put chairs? We can put chairs. There are some scarce situation where we can put chairs. Okay, we can put just. You can have SQL ingestion to remote code execution in some sites, but that is very scarce. Okay, if we want to get the admin access and we know the admin username, we will simply do admin or 1 equal to 1, right? That depends, okay? That depends on the query that is made in background, okay? That depends on the query made in background. So, for example, here we have exploited the logic behind that query. We have just made that he will consider our query, our injection as always true. That is the reason why we have quotes or equal 1 to or 1 equal to 1. So that depends on the query and that depends to your payload. So in some cases, you can put admin or 1 equal to 1 and we have admin access. In some cases, you will put admin or 1 equal to 1 and you have 1 equal to 1 access. Okay. So I think that is all. Maybe some question at the end of the session. For now, we will go to the second vulnerability. Okay, second vulnerability. Here we are talking about authentication bypass vulnerability. I want to say to be brief that authentication bypass vulnerability, when we talk about that, we are talking about many vulnerabilities in oneself. Okay, we are talking about many vulnerabilities, but that includes some way of authentication. So we have to find a way to get access to unauthorized resource by authentication, by authenticating ourselves. Okay, so I want to learn authentication bypass vulnerabilities occurs when an attacker can circumvent the intended authentication mechanism, gaining unauthorized access to protect resources or systems. So for this, we will go directly to the lab, okay? And I think that you will enjoy it. Let me give me some time to set up the lab. Okay, just few minutes. Okay, so I think that we have our lab set up for now. I will restart, I think, the here. Okay. Okay, girls, that is our second lab. In that lab, we will see authentication bypass, okay? And I have included 4 vulnerabilities for the case of authentication bypass. You can see that in authentication bypass, we can have SQL injection, we can have default password vulnerability, we can have brute force attack, and we can have logical flaw. Okay. For SQL injection vulnerability, I want to try something. We will see the page, and you will give me the payload in the chat room. Okay. So here, okay, guys, send me the payload for exploiting that vulnerability. So I will see your payloads. Guys, send me the payload. Okay. Okay. I will try all this and we will see who we gain. Okay. I will try all this. So send your payloads. Okay. Okay. We will start. I will start by Danish. We start sending the payload. Not here. Okay. SQL injection. So, okay. Danish, you are right. You have gain. Okay. So 1 point for Danish. Another one. Another one. No. Sorry. No. That does not pass. Undercover. Hope it will work. Put that here. No. Fate. No. That does not pass. Oh, other way. Okay. We see. No. That does not pass. Hope it works. Okay. I hope to. I'm hoping to that it will work. No, sorry. Oh, guys, you have sent more payloads. Okay. Now, fades. Where am I? Here, okay. So, for the moment, that just vanished, okay? Someone to take the floor. The floor. Okay, that. No, sorry. That's the same thing. That's the same thing. So I don't need to try. Maybe I will try. I will try it. Oh, that did not pass. Oh, guys, I will just do 5 more, okay? Five, just 5 more. I will wait. Just 5 more. I think I'm here, okay? Oh, it says, okay? No, I will not try that. Okay, I will not try that because it's not the concept. Sorry, guys. Okay, I will try that. Login failed. Just for more. No. 3 more. That I'm not sure that it will pass. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, that passed. So that makes the second person. Okay. Who is it? Gilbert. Gilbert. Okay. Good job, I think. Good job. Okay. Good job. We try this to end. So we have Danish and Gilbert. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Alan. Oh, guys, I think there are some things that are the same. So I will just take one for undercover harvesting. That drop users, no. Maybe that's to end. Maybe that to end, guys. No. Okay. So to summarize, we have 3 persons, but I'm very happy because I think that you have understood the concept, okay? But what we have to work now is the way we are sending the payload, okay? We make attention to the code in order to close. If there is an open code, we will close it. And if there is already a code, we try to not adding another code. Okay, so I think that SQL injection by prioritizing, we find a way to make it successful all the time. Okay, so we will do all the next part of the lab. Okay, so default login. What are we meaning by default login? There are some application. Okay, there are some application that that for authenticating yourself, you will use admin as username, admin as password. You will use admin as username or password as password, and so on and so forth. And in the web, you can find also the credential if you do some research for some application. So hackers can use that if you have not changed the default password for your application. Okay, hackers can use that to authenticate to your resources. Okay, to your resources. So in that lab, we will try to find the default login. Okay, the default login here. I think no, I was there. Okay, so we'll try to find the default login of our application. For instance, that is a lab that I have made myself. So for the default log, we can explore the application. Okay, we can explore the application in order to see if the developer have not let the credentials in the development, in the code, and so on and so forth. So for those, we try to see the source code of the page. Okay, so just make a right click on the page and try to see the code source. So as we can see here, there is something that is comment. So we have default, nothing, and default password. So maybe we can try that in our page. Okay. I had thought about nothing. Me, I will put admin and pass that. Good. That's good. That's good. So we have what I wanna explain by that vulnerability is that maybe I will try to do some research. Because propose me some common application. Okay, some common application. Propose me that in the chat. We try to see something. Some common application that you know. Application that you use. We try to see something. Some common application. Uber, Cisco, Switch, exactly. That is an application too. So as a hacker, I can do that. Come here. Good. So Cisco Switch default password. In internet, I can find that the default password is Cisco. So for a hacker, he will take a switch and we try to authenticate as Cisco and Cisco. Cisco has a username and Cisco has a password. And that vulnerability regroups most of the application if you don't change the default password of your application. So you have to change the default password in order to have a new password that is not known by all people. Okay. So to continue, the next vulnerability, I think, okay, that is the most interesting vulnerability here. It is brute force vulnerability. Brute force, what is brute force? Okay, brute force basically is a way to try to guess username and guess the password of the application. Okay, guess username and the password. It is more easy when you know one of them. When you know the username, so you know that we just try to authenticate using different passwords as the same username in order to find the right. But when you have to find the two of them, that is more difficult. Okay. In our lab, I will give you the admin, the username. So we will suppose that the username is admin, and we will try to guess the password. Okay, to guess the password. For the purpose, you can use some automatic tools as Hydra, for example. Okay, you can use Hydra to brute force password and so on and so forth. Hydra is a tool installed on Kyrillos operating system. You can also use Burp Suite. You are right. You can use that. So for our lab, I wanna us use a script that we have wrote ourselves. So we will use a Python script, okay, to try to authenticate in the web server. Okay, most of the time, know that today hackers don't use automated tools because they know that developers are advised about the good practice and so on and so forth. So to find a vulnerability in a website, you have to be very, very good. You have to have the mind, you have to understand what is the logic behind the website and so on and so forth. So you have to have skills needed to have access to resource. Okay. So as I said, we will use a script, but we will have to understand the logic of the application. We have a login page with a username and a password. Okay. For starting, we will see how the data is sent. Okay. So that right click, network. Okay. So we will send a random data, for example, and try to see how the data is customized. So I try to log in, for example. Okay. So I come here. Oh, I come here. So I see that the data is sent via post method. Okay. So what are the data that I sent? I will come to payload, admin, and the password. So is what we have as information is that the data, okay, is sent using post method. Post method, okay. So we have two parameters. We have two parameters. Okay. In the chat, guys, tell me what are the parameters. What are the two parameters that we have? Thank you. So that is username and password. Now, post and get are two methods, okay? Two methods to send data from the web page to the server for sending the data to PHP function and so on and so forth. The post and get are methods, okay? Username and password are parameters that we use to send information in the variables and so on and so forth, okay? So here we have two parameters. We have username, okay, and we have password. So we know that when we will write our script, okay, we will use username and password, and we will send those information using post method, okay, using post method. So to gain time, I have already wrote the script. I will provide you after, okay. There is a question, I think, that against parameter is required to reprocess to place. If required parameter are not set or missing, it will not process. Exactly. So that script is very simple. Okay, that script is very simple because we are in a posture of a hacker, so we have to find the right password for our application. We know that the username is admin, okay, so that is the URL of the site, okay. Here that function is just trying to take the password from that list. So that is the password list. We have many passwords here, so we will try all this using our script, okay. And so all that is just to read passwords from the file, okay? Just to read passwords from the file. So here we have our username who is admin already set, and we try to log in. So to log in, we will send data to the website using post parameter, okay? So request post, but we since format the post request by specifying our parameters, username that is set here, and password that come from here. So that is what we will pass to our function later, okay? So what is simple here is that we will take the username who is admin and we will read all passwords, try all those passwords in order to see what is the right password. So for exercise, we will try to execute that function. So guys, I will try to execute that. We try to execute that together. Okay, I hope you are seeing my screen. So just executing that. Okay, that's normal. That's normal. 1 minute. 1 minute. Mm-hmm. 1 minute. So we are here. Is there a question? Icon, okay. So we execute the code. And as you can see here, he has tried all the passwords. We had tried all the passwords in the file. Had tried, and when it found the password, he take password from, and the password here is admin pass. So the password here is admin pass. Okay. Yeah, Joseph, is there a question? Joseph? Okay. So to summarize, we have a password list, a common use passwords, as Sana said, okay? We have common use password that can include thousand and thousand of passwords, okay? We try to send them using the username admin that we already know, and try to send that to the server in order to see what's the right password. Okay. One of the questions we have sent is it possible to execute this code web console? In web console, you wanna say? In web console, the language there is JavaScript. Okay, is JavaScript. Maybe it is possible. I will not lie. I have not tried that. Maybe it is possible, but I have not already tried. Okay, I have not already tried. Another question, guys. Okay. Okay, what's the password? What if the password is saved using some machine algorithms, such as like we have in real? Okay. Okay, if the password is saved using an algorithm before sending it, so in our script, okay, in our script, before sending it here, okay, as password, we will try to encrypt that in the form that is used. That can be SHA, okay, that can be MD5. So we will try to encrypt that in the form that is used before sending that. So we will compare our hash with the hash that is in the database. That is very simple, okay? Here we send it because in our database, the password is stored in a clear form, okay, in a plain text, okay. So when the password will be encrypted, before sending that, we encrypt it too, okay. I hope I have answered your question. Okay, so to finish, we have one more vulnerability, okay, just one more to finish this session. That is logical flaw. Logical flaw. So that is a problem of the logic in the code. Okay. So logical flow is little weird. Okay. You can find that it is little weird, but it is something very simple. Okay. Developers know that when you are on a website and you have behavior to type username and password. Okay, I have not said username or password because in most of the website when you type username and you let the password blank, they tell you that it is required. Okay, it is required. But some developers can use that behavior that they know that you have to type two passwords in order to get unauthorized access. So when I type that, okay, I try to log in, that's a login failed, okay? When I type that's a login failed. When I type that and let the password, that's a login failed. But if I type something and let the password blank, and it say password, and it say login failed. That means that he have take the request, he have made the request. So the password field is not required. Maybe we have the password, we have the username here, is admin. So we will try to authenticate with a password blank, with a blank password. Okay, login. Oh, so what I'm going to say here is just that you have to inspect the code source in order to understand what is needed, what is required. Okay, here we can see that the developer is asking us to put a username, but it is not required for a password. He have not made required. Okay, so it is not important for him, for us to put the password. So if you have the right username who is admin, we can authenticate with a with a blank password. Okay, I hope you have understood. So in authentication bypass, we have seen four cases. Okay, 4 cases. We have seen SQL ingestion that we have already seen. We have seen brute force. Okay, we have seen logical flow. Okay, and we have seen default credentials, so default password. So those vulnerabilities are very critical when you are in a website and when you are hosting information of some people. Suppose that it is a bank website who is doing that issues, who is hosting that issues, and a hacker have access to that, to those information that is very critical. So your money, your information, your birthday, all those information will go to the hacker. Okay. Maybe you have some question, guys. Any question?
No.
So there is not any question. Okay.
Hello.
As okay. Hello.
Hello. Sir, I have a question. We have learned today SQL injection, authentication bypass 6. And I have seen many websites in today's world that they don't use such passwords like plain text. They use encrypted text. And they also don't use such SQLi type queries. These were, they use parameterized queries and input is validated before pass to the server. Then why we learn such things which are not applicable in today's application, on today's application or in today's world?
Okay. That's a very good question. That's a very good question because we are talking about something that is made in real world application. Okay. You are right. In today website, we are using process, okay, query because before sending it to the database, so that the password are not stored in a plain text format and so on and so forth. But here it is a lab, and we have to understand firstly how we can exploit SQL injection. Okay, if you know how to exploit it, even if the password is stored in a encrypted format, you have to have the good script in order to gain access to unauthorized resource. Okay, but you know that even if there are some security on the processing, request before sending to the database. Your hackers can also exploit those if they are not properly sanitized. Because that is why I'm talking about sanitization. You have to process that in a correct form in order to make that not attackable by attackers. Okay, you have to find a way to make the request that is sent to the database more secure. So they use prepared queries. Okay, they use prepared queries, as you said. They also use password in encrypted form, but they are not 100% security. Okay, they are not 100% security. There is still a vulnerability under that. Okay. Any more question? Okay, so I hope you have understood what we have talked about today. We have talked about SQL injection. We are also talking about authentication bypass when you have seen most of the cases that you can encounter. So I think you will be motivated in web security vulnerabilities. Tomorrow we will continue. So if there is not a question, thank you.